Good morning, everyone. It is currently Friday, the 5th of December, 2014. Do want to start off by noting I'm making this update right around 19 Universal Standard Time. That's about 3 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. Yes, very early in the morning, but a long day ahead here. Making this update, and then I'll be heading out to NHK World, broadcasting there on this storm throughout the rest of the morning. And then this coming weekend, WesternPacificWeather.com will be having full coverage, probably releasing these video updates several times a day, plus new updates will be posted on our Facebook page and on the website. So let's get into it. Latest satellite imagery on this storm system does show some actually rather decent news. And what I mean by that, we are starting to see an abundance of vertical wind shear come in from that cold surge off towards the north we have been talking about for several days now. Take a look at this outflow in the northern periphery. That is a shear line being pulled here, and that is actually some fantastic news, because what we are seeing is basically the Dvorak reading on this dropping down from an 8 just about 24 hours ago, now down to about a 6.5. I know for those of you who aren't sure exactly what I'm talking about, keep in mind, if you see a Dvorak reading, the lower the number, the better the news. That's basically, in short, we have about 20 to 30 knots of vertical wind shear acting on this storm system. That is the wind difference between the surface and the upper levels. Put in short, tropical systems don't like vertical wind shear. Think of it kind of like a candle. If you blow on a candle just slightly, it might actually make it a little bit brighter, but if you blow on it too hard, it'll blow it out, and that's what we're starting to see off here. Now, I don't expect this storm system to be blown out by any means, but we are seeing a slight weakening in the forecast. That is all relative, though, because as far as the weakening goes, it's going from Typhoon with winds upwards of 300 km per JMA, per JTW3, 333 kilometers per hour, and dropping down to about 296 kilometers per hour prior to landfall, based on their latest forecast track. That's still a very intense storm system, guys. It would be like saying you were originally going to get hit by a truck, but now you're going to get hit by a smaller truck. It's still coming, so even though you might see reports out there that it is weakening, it is all relative. It's still a super typhoon. At the very least, it still is actually some improvement in the news we have been getting. So we have the latest track from Typhoon Hagupit here, or Ruby, based on Pegasa's forecast. Really can't differ much from this. This is what we are seeing, at least at this time. A landfall around Samar, especially there in central and northern portions of the island. Tacloban, good news there. It looks like you should be missing out on the worst of the storm system as far as the storm surge. Don't expect a significant storm surge that you've seen last year, especially with a track that looks like this. Still looking at the winds and still looking at the heavy rains, though, and there's a potential of some significant flooding for those of you there. Basically, the people are going to be seeing the worst of the storm surge based on the latest track. It's going to be just on the northern periphery of that forecasted track, especially in these low-lying bays and inlets. And I'm not going to get in on all the specific where the worst storm surge will likely occur. I do think it really is going to be in a few of these bays and inlets in central and northern Samar, especially in low-lying areas. But I have a really great website here. This is from Project NOAA, and just go through it. Go ahead and go through this. I'll put the link down below in the description, and it shows you all these different cities and basically the storm surge advisory that has been issued for them. If you click the link, pulls up a map, shows an inundation area for the immediate coastal area, and definitely one of these really good tools I do suggest anybody that lives out here and is worried about storm surge should use. And if you are in any of these areas in the red, probably best bet is to start moving inland. Really now, you really want to get away from the immediate coastal areas. I know that now, at least as of making this update here on Friday morning, this is the current radar out of the Philippines. I mean, there's not much showing at this time. It's kind of the calm before the storm. The storm is sucking up all the moisture from the west here, and it's just outside of radar here towards the east. It is coming, and let's take a look at the satellite imagery. You can just see where exactly it is continuing to go here. But once again, good news, we are still seeing that vertical wind shear act on it, and that unfortunately is also pulling it a little bit farther towards the north as far as an impact on the Manila area. If that does continue to follow through, you're likely going to be hit by some, at least tropical storm strength winds by Monday, but there is going to be some significant weakening before that happens. So it won't be that violent super typhoon by by the time it does reach a little bit farther off there towards the north. Go through and break down a few of these model runs. I know a lot of you have been watching that as well. The GFS, which has been consistent on showing a recurvature scenario, does expect a landfall at this time based on their model ensemble coming on shore on Samar here on late Saturday evening, pushing across basically northern Versailles, moving into southern or southeastern Luzon. As we go ahead into Sunday morning, definitely looking at typhoon strength winds farther inland, but it is a slow-moving storm, so I do want to keep mention of the fact that there is going to be some heavy rain out of this, and there is a very serious flood threat, and then eventually tracking off there towards the Manila area. But as you can see here, as we look ahead into Monday morning into the afternoon hours, really, or actually about Sunday evening, this does show some significant weakening, and by the time it reaches to the Manila area, vertical wind shear, land interaction is going to be really acting in on this. Just compare up with the ECMWF model also agrees by the time it makes it over here towards the western seaboards, there is going to be an abundance of weakening coming in from our storm system. So Manila, I know you're worried about it, but I don't think you're going to be seeing the destructive and damaging winds, but enough to blow stuff around as we look at here by Sunday night and really going through much of the day on Monday. That's what we're going to be seeing over here. But the worst of the weather, of course, is going to be back here towards the east, guys. Eastern coast of Samar. I really think this is where our main attention needs to be right at this time, right where I'm drawing this red line. Then our storm's going to track off here just like that and eventually push the northwest. And really at this time, that's what we're looking at. Here's that ECMWF model again, just showing you the point of landfall. Fair confidence in this occurring here today, guys. I know it's been a long week of basically dynamics in play and all the other stuff we've been looking at for a possible recurvature scenario. That possibility is still even there, but I think this is really what the end result is going to be with that landfall here across central and eastern portions of Samar. For those of you in Mindanao, I know you've been worried about this. You're really going to miss out on the worst of the storm system, especially down towards Davao. You're really just outside of it. Maybe some light rain showers, but nothing too intense there. As we look ahead, though, that's really what we're looking at right now. Just see this track pull off there towards the northwest. All right, guys, that is all for right now, and it is a early morning update. As always, though, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them down there in the comment box below. Try to do our best to answer them all, but please check the website and see if you can get at least some of the information you are seeking. All right.